friends, it's Jennifer, and welcome to the Real Knitting Podcast. I'm so happy that you're here today. I have a little bit different setup because it's a rainy, blah day, and where I normally film was pretty dark. So we're going to try this. Let me know what you think. I have over here a sweet little painting of my little girl, Roxy. It's not actually her, but it looked like her enough that it was just sweet. But it's called Waiting. Puppies. So let's jump into the knitting. I don't remember if I showed you last week a finished sock. So this is a half object. And this is Diamond Luxury Yarns Socksy Lady base. And it's got some fun like zigzag color pooling. This is for my little boy. He's 7. Now ordinarily I would not like crazy zigzag pooling on my socks. But I think on his it's pretty cool. I think he'll like it. It's a very simple vanilla sock pattern. I did maybe like an inch-ish of 2x2 rib. Then I did a heel flap and gusset using an eye of partridge heel texture, which once you get the hang of that, it's easy. You guys can do it. And then the simple heel turn, and then down we go. And a little boxed toe, just decreasing every other round and then decreasing every round until you get down to, I usually do like 16 stitches in the center for the toe box. He's 7, but he got big old feet, so I had to rip this one out and start and go some more. I actually had it finished before, but it was way too small for his little big feet. So finished object. The sock recipe I use is from Stephanie Pearl McPhee, one of her books. Love it. It's so, once you have it memorized, it's really good. Top down, heel flap and gusset. So I've actually started the second sock, and no, I don't usually get second sock syndrome. Usually when I finish a sock, I'm really ready to cast the next one on. Sometimes the next one goes slower because I get a little distracted, but I'm really good about making myself cast on pretty immediately when I bind off one sock. So here we go. This is sock number 2. I still have a pretty good ways to go on it. Oh yeah. But this is just my car sock, like when I'm waiting in the car. Or I knit on it some in church. Yeah. Purse sock. There's the purse sock. And I also, last week, maybe a couple weeks, I've been showing this beautiful yarn. I say last week. I podcast every other Thursday and post it on Friday. I have this lovely yarn, which has unfortunately lost its ball band, but I'm pretty sure the name of it was Tinsel Tree. It's such a gorgeous, speckled, slightly stripy yarn. And it knits up beautifully. So it'll have like micro stripes and then some speckles and then some more micro striping. But I'm about to rip this out. I'm about to frog the whole thing because I'm just really not happy with it. So first of all, it had problems from the start. I started off with a 9-inch Chow circular that I bought. And I don't mind it. I actually kind of like the 9-inch circulars. I like that you just keep going around and you never worry about laddering and you're not dropping any needles ever. And it feels very secure in my hand. So I like that. But I went up to a size 1, which I think that my sock knitting, at least my DPNs, has gotten a little bit looser. No, tighter. It's gotten a little tighter, so I can move up because I used to use zeros, and that's what James's sock is on. These are size 0, and these are my favorite carbons. Knitter's Pride Carbons needles. These are wonderful because I don't break them. But this is a size 1. So I went up to a size 1, but I did not take that into account when I cast on my stitches. So I cast on, this has 72 stitches. And 72 stitches for a size 1 for me is just a little too big. But I thought, somebody I know would love to have a pair of hand knit socks. And they're so pretty, right? So I just kind of kept going, and I did a few inches. I only did like half an inch of ribbing, and then I did maybe 2.5 or 3 inches of stockinette. And then I did the Fish Lips Kiss heel. So I downloaded this months ago, thinking, oh, well, maybe if I like the FLK heel, maybe I'll knit more socks or knit socks faster or something like that. I don't really care for it. My friend Mel, she absolutely loves the FLK heel. She said it's a game changer for her. But I don't really like it. So, first of all, it looks weird to me. Like, it looks like a weird nose or I don't know. It looks weird to me. And I think I did it correctly. Like, it's supposed to look kind of like a toe, right? So mine kind of looks like a toe. But I tried it on, and I'm just not digging it. The heel flap and gusset, if I stick to my correct measurements, perfect. It fits me perfect. It's like that meme. Perfect, perfect, perfect. Have you seen that? Anyway. But I'm just not digging it. So this whole thing is about to get frogged, and I don't know if I'm going to start it again or if I'm going to save this yarn to go into a shawl. It's awfully pretty for wearing on your feet. Okay. That's that one. I also have talked about my little sweater for John. So this is LRA Yarns Classic Heathers. And it's like this heathery blue gray kind of color. Really sweet. It's a little bit of a scratchy yarn for a 2-year-old, but I'm thinking about it being more like a throw-over sweater, like a sweatshirty kind of sweater that he'll wear over whatever else he's wearing. So it's not a next to skin sweater. This is the first sweater I've ever done that I'm going to piece together. It's all done in pieces, so that's the front and the back. And then last time I showed you, this is the right sleeve. My left sleeve, which I did second, is huge. It was huge. It was longer by like an inch, but it was also wider by a few stitches. So I'm thinking maybe somebody in the comments suggested that maybe I just did the wrong size of the sleeve, and I'm thinking she's right. So I tore it out and balled it up. I did that this morning, just mostly so I could have something to talk about on the podcast. This is going to be a short one because really I don't have that much going on right now. Just work and trying to keep up with wild kids. Okay, next, we talked last week about how I was dying to cast on a new sweater for myself, of course, because why else do we knit, right? So I had this yarn. This is Louisa Harding's Tinsel yarn, and it's so soft, so soft. It is merino wool and superfine alpaca, and then it also has 23% lyocell. No, it's, let me start over. 35% wool, 30% lyocell, 23% alpaca, which I think is what's in my mouth, and 12% acrylic. So it has kind of like this little barber poling effect going around, and I think those are the synthetic fibers sort of wrapped around the natural fibers. It is so big and squishy. It's an Aran weight yarn. It ends up sort of like Aran weight. And I looked and I talked to you guys about all these different patterns, and I just wasn't digging any of them. I kind of felt like for $8, I would just kind of make my own. So I took a class quite a while back called the Sweater Workshop. Hold on. Here's my book. It's called The Sweater Workshop by Jacqueline Fee. And what she does is she takes you through, I'll give you a flash of all my notes here. This is from a cardigan I made. It's kind of a mess. But she takes you through a bunch of different types of techniques to get used to working on sweaters. Like you practice plackets, you practice changing colors, you practice all kinds of stuff. And then at the end, you've designed your own sweater to fit your own measurements. Now, my sweater was not perfect because I don't think I really understood gauge at the time. And I was nervous. I'm always nervous I'm going to make things too small. So while the sweater does fit me pretty well, it's a little oversized. So instead of digging through and doing all of that, it's a very ADHD thing to do. I just cast on the sweater. I have a little stitch marker there. That's where I dropped a stitch. I'll just go back and fix that guy. 2x2 rib for maybe, I don't know, inch and a half down there at the bottom. And then straight on stockinette. I thought about doing something more interesting, but with so much texture in this yarn, I just stuck with the stockinette. Plus, it helps it sort of drape. Since it's a thicker yarn, it helps it drape real well. So here's the catch. I only have 3 balls of this yarn, and with it being a an Aran weight or a heavy worsted, okay, 100 gram ball, 174 yards. So I only have 3 of these. So I have like 500 yards or something. Maybe 6? No. Yeah, like 550. So I don't really have enough to do a full sweater, obviously. So all I'm doing is I plan to do sort of a cropped sweater. Show you. So maybe have it come like right at my natural waist or slightly lower. And maybe do another, I don't know, 4 or 5 inches here. Because I've just now started my second ball. So I think I'm doing pretty good on yarn. And working from the bottom up, then I can figure out what it is I want to do with the sleeves as I see how much yarn I have left. So this might become a sleeveless vest. It might become something with like a short sleeve. So if I do short sleeved, I really like it to come at least mid bicep, maybe even elbow length. I doubt I have that much yarn, but once I get up to the split for the sleeves, then I'll know a little better what I'm wanting to do with it. Because I'll be able to say, oh, well, I only have 1 skein left, or I still have a skein and a half, or I have less than a skein. So I'm really just winging this. And my favorite construction is probably raglan, but I'm not opposed to doing a set-in sleeve with this because I think it would be super cute to have just a little bit of a puff sleeve, maybe. Just a tiny bit. I'm not a real big puff sleeve, ruffly kind of person, but just a little puff to the cap sleeve would be sweet. I don't know. If I get up to the sleeve split and I'm really desperately running out of yarn, I can always make like a tank top. I don't think it'll come to that because I already have this much. And I just added the second ball of yarn. I don't know. But see all that pretty texture? It's almost shiny. So I'm doing this. The suggested needles for this yarn is an 8, but I'm doing size 9 on my Licky copper needles. And for those of you who are kind of interested in these needles, I am finding that they are starting, let's see if you can see, they're starting to patina a little bit. Yeah, maybe there. Like you can kind of see they're not quite as shiny as they were, but They're still gorgeous. No, I don't think my hands smell like pennies, and I'm still really happy with them. Okay. There we go. I will link the sweater workshop book below, and I really recommend it, especially if you are interested in teaching like a comprehensive sweater class. This is a great resource. You could even just teach through the book. That's the class that I took with Deb Berger way back when. Yeah, so I loved the class. All right, where are we? Oh, my portage sweater is still in timeout. It'll come back. It'll come back. Just not today. All right, so last time with our yoga, we did rolling our wrists. So this time we're going to do a little bit of a chest stretch. And it actually works out that because I am right up against this sucker. Because we're going to actually put the arm up. See if you can see. I'm going to put it up behind me. Straight up, and then I'm gonna just walk it back a little bit so that my chest is turning away from the big armoire thing here, and we're stretching the chest. So the arm is up and behind you on the wall, and you're gonna turn away from it like this. Now, quite often people's arms go numb. If your arm goes numb, take it down, shake it out, and try again. I'll show you on this side. So I'm going to go up and kind of behind myself. And then I'm going to turn my chest away. So you want to make sure that your elbow is up even with your head, or maybe just slightly above it. And the arm is behind you. This is a really weird angle for the camera. Okay, so there's our yoga for knitters. Last time I had a giveaway, and Rebecca Cook won. So Rebecca, if you're watching, contact me. You still have a giveaway. I will give Rebecca a few more weeks, and if I don't hear from her, then we'll draw again. I drew from the comments down below, and that's how I like to do my drawings, so that, I don't know, it helps me get found on YouTube, so it helps keep the channel going for you to comment. So if you would like to comment, I love to hear from you, and I try to reply to everyone. I don't have a whole lot else going on. I did have one little yarny adventure. I had a fiber weekend at my friend Carrie's. So Carrie and her husband Jay, they have she calls it a library, but it's a yarn. It's a big yarn haven, basically, and periodically she opens this up for her friends to come and sit around and chat and knit together or spin or whatever crafty goodness you like to do. And Carrie had one of those this weekend, and that was so sweet. So it was great to see some of my yarn friends, because we really haven't seen each other much since COVID. I'm really looking forward to the retreat that we do together in August. So that's coming up. And then the Anything Fiber sale is coming up the end of July. So this is like a yarn yard sale that they have in Asheville. I'm super excited because I get some really inexpensive things this year. I'm really looking forward to design books. I need to get back to my designing. And I think once things settle down around here a little bit more, I'll be able to do that. I'm quitting at my job at the church, which I just do 3 days a week at our church, and I'm going to be able to be home with my kids. So very excited about that. I've got both of them, they'll be in kindergarten. No. James is going to be in first grade. John is going to be in preschool this year. So they're big enough to both be going somewhere besides daycare, and then I will have them in the afternoons. Our adoption should go through soon, but I still don't have a date on that, but I will let you guys know when we adopt our little baby. And the next thing coming up is within the next week, I intend to get out my fall trends video. So in springtime, actually it was like late winter, I did a spring trends video, or a spring trends blog post about what I saw coming down the pike trend-wise and how it was going to affect knitting. so I did that as in a video format for summertime, and that was a lot of fun because I could pop the pictures up here, and I choose different patterns and different yarns just based on the trends and what I'm seeing and how to apply those. And so we've got a fall one coming up. I've done a lot of my research. I'm super excited to share with you what I'm seeing for fall. So stay tuned. That'll come soon. And thank you all for being here. It was a short one today, and don't forget to like and subscribe, and you can get a free pattern if you head to my mailing list, all of which is linked down below. Thank you.